Flash bulbs, overlapping questions, voices competing. Marlon Brando sat at a table, 5 microphones angled toward him, silent, watching. 20 minutes of this, question after hostile question. His answers short, controlled, giving nothing. Then one journalist raised his hand. Front row. The room quieted. Mr. Brando, simple question. Pause. Will you apologize to the Academy? The room went completely still. The press conference had been scheduled for 2 p.m., a hotel ballroom in Los Angeles. Afternoon light through cheap curtains, tables arranged in rows, 40 reporters claiming seats early, setting up tape recorders, testing flashbulbs. The air already tense before Brando arrived. This was the first time he'd faced the media since the Oscar refusal. Weeks of silence, speculation, theories. Now the room would get answers, or blood, preferably both. Brando arrived exactly at 2 p.m. No publicist, no handlers, no prepared statement. Just him walking through the side door. Dark jacket, white shirt, no tie. He sat down at the table, adjusted one microphone, looked at the room. Go ahead, he said. The question started immediately. Mr. Brando, do you regret refusing the Oscar? He looked at the reporter, second row, young, eager. No. Do you think it was appropriate to use the ceremony that way? Yes. Short answers, no elaboration. The room wanted paragraphs. He gave them words. Another reporter stood, older, more experienced. Some people are calling it disrespectful to the Academy, to your fellow nominees. They can call it whatever they want. But do you understand why people might see it that way? Understanding and agreeing are different things. The reporter sat down, wrote something, underlined it. A woman in the third row. The Academy is reportedly considering rule changes to prevent this from happening again. Your response? That's their right. You don't think that's censorship? I think that's an institution protecting itself, expected. She tried again. So you anticipated this would lead to restrictions? I anticipated consequences, yes. Another voice, back row. Mr. Brando, you've lost significant work because of this decision. 3 film contracts reportedly canceled. Does that bother you? No. Not at all? I made a choice. Choices have consequences. I accept them. Even if those consequences include, even then. The reporter sat back. Nothing. No crack. The questions kept coming. Different reporters, same angles. Each one trying to find the opening. What message do you think you sent to other actors? I didn't send a message to other actors. I sent one to the industry. And that message was that silence is complicity. Some would argue there are better ways to advocate. Name one that reaches 80 million people in 60 seconds. The reporter paused. No response. Another stood. Mr. Brando, what about Sachin Littlefeather? She's been blacklisted from the industry. Doesn't that concern you? Brando's expression didn't change. I warned her what would happen before she agreed. She chose to do it anyway. That took more courage than anything I've done. But her career is effectively over. He knew the Academy would never let someone read 15 pages on live television. He'd have to condense it, but the full statement would go to the press afterward. The ceremony would be the spark. The press would be the fire. He didn't want applause. He wanted them trapped. He needed someone to deliver it, someone whose presence would reinforce the message. He reached out to Sachin Littlefeather, an activist, Apache and Yaqui heritage, president of the National Native American Affirmative Image Committee, someone who'd been fighting for Native representation in media for years. He explained what he wanted to do, the risk involved, the backlash that would come. She didn't hesitate. Someone needs to say it. They worked on the condensed version together. 60 seconds, maybe 90 if the Academy let it run. Every word chosen for maximum impact. Clear, direct, impossible to misunderstand. Brando told almost no one about the plan. Not his agent, not the studio, certainly not the Academy. The power of the moment depended on surprise. If they knew it was coming, they'd find a way to stop it. March 27, 1973, the 45th Academy Awards, Dorothy Chandler Pavilion, Los Angeles. Sachin Littlefeather arrived early. Security checked her name against the list. She was cleared as Brando's representative. They assumed she was there to accept on his behalf. She didn't correct them. Backstage, she could feel the energy of the ceremony. The biggest night in Hollywood. Stars everywhere. Makeup artists rushing. Producers checking schedules. The machine running smoothly. She held Brando's full 15-page statement in a leather folder. An Academy official saw it. "You're accepting for Mr. Brando?" "I'm representing him," she said. "You'll have 60 seconds at the microphone." "I understand." The official walked away, never asked what she planned to say, never questioned whether this was an acceptance or something else. The ceremony began. Awards presented, speeches delivered, everything running on schedule, professional, controlled, the way the Academy liked it. In the control room, producers monitored every moment. Multiple cameras, audio levels timed perfectly. This was live television. 80 million people watching. No room for error. Best Actor was scheduled for late in the ceremony, one of the major awards, big moment. They'd allocated extra time for applause, for the winner to reach the stage, for a proper speech. Liv Ullmann and Roger Moore walked out to present, the envelope in Moore's hand, the tension in the room building. Everyone knew Brando would win. The only question was whether he'd attend. Moore opened the envelope, looked at the card, smiled. And the winner is Marlon Brando, The Godfather. The audience erupted. Standing ovation, cameras panning across faces, Jack Nicholson clapping, Clint Eastwood nodding. This was the coronation everyone expected. Sachin stood from her seat, started walking toward the stage. Cameras caught her movement. The audience kept applauding. She walked calmly, no rush, no hesitation. I think I speak for many people in this room when I say this. The Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences gave you their highest honor, Best Actor, for one of the most acclaimed performances in cinema history. They celebrated your work, your craft, your contribution to the art form. He paused. Let that settle. You rejected it, publicly, in front of millions of viewers, in front of your peers, in front of people who admire you. Another pause. The room completely still now. Many people, not all, but many, see that as disrespectful. Disrespectful to the institution that honored you, to the voters who chose you, to the craft itself, to the tradition of acknowledging excellence in film. His tone wasn't aggressive. That was what made it effective. He sounded reasonable, thoughtful, like he was asking the question everyone wanted to ask but couldn't frame properly. I understand you have your reasons. I understand you believe in the cause you were advocating for. But there are ways to advocate that don't involve rejecting an honor on live television. He leaned forward slightly, the trap closing. So I have a simple question. One I think deserves a direct answer. The room held its breath. Will you apologize to the Academy? Complete silence. No flashbulbs, no shuffling papers, no whispered asides, just 40 reporters watching, waiting. This was it, the question that mattered, framed perfectly, reasonable, moral, impossible to dodge without looking arrogant. Brando looked at the journalist, didn't speak, didn't move, just looked. 3 seconds passed. The journalist held eye contact, confident. He'd asked the right question. He knew it. 4 seconds. A reporter in the back shifted in his seat. The chair creaked. Someone's pen tapped once against a notepad, then stopped. 5 seconds. Another reporter leaned forward, ready to write. This was the moment, the confession, the walk back. Tomorrow's headline forming. Brando apologizes. 6 seconds. Brando's expression hadn't changed, neutral, calm. But the silence was doing something, making the room uncomfortable, making the question hang in the air longer than the journalist had intended. A camera operator adjusted his lens, the click loud in the quiet. 7 seconds. The journalist's confidence flickered, just slightly, a micro-expression. Was Brando going to answer? Was this a refusal to engage? 8 seconds. A woman in the third row wet her lips, glanced at her colleague. He shrugged slightly. What was happening? 9 seconds. Brando's hands were folded on the table. Still, no fidgeting, no tension, just waiting. Like he had all day, like the room would wait as long as he needed them to. 10 seconds. The journalist opened his mouth, about to rephrase, about to clarify, about to give Brando an out. Then Brando spoke. Yes. The room exhaled, the tension breaking like a snapped wire, pens moving instantly, flashbulbs firing. They had it, the apology, the headline, the victory. I would like to apologize. The journalist nodded, vindicated. The trap had worked. Brando had walked in. Now came the contrition, the acknowledgement, the softening everyone had been waiting for. Brando's voice didn't change. Same steady tone. I apologize to every Native American child who grew up watching their people portrayed as savages in films the Academy celebrated. The room stopped. Pens froze. The journalist's expression changed. I apologize to every Native community told their stories didn't matter unless a white actor played their grandfather in a $10 headdress. Silence. Complete silence. I apologize to every Native elder who watched John Wayne get rich playing the men who killed their families and watched the Academy give him an Oscar for it. The journalist opened his mouth. Nothing came out. Brando leaned forward, still calm, voice steady, but filling the room now. I apologize to every activist told to be patient, to wait, to let Hollywood tell their stories when Hollywood was ready, while their people were being killed and their land was being stolen. He paused, let the silence build. I'm not sorry I refused the Oscar. I'm sorry it took me this long. The room was frozen. 40 reporters, none writing, none asking follow-ups, just sitting there. The journalist who'd asked sat there at his notepad. He'd set it up perfectly, and Brando had walked in and detonated it from inside. Another reporter tried to recover, voice shaky. Mr. Brando, the Academy itself. Brando stood, reached for the microphones, started unplugging them, one by one, deliberate, calm. That's all, he said. Just one more question. He removed the last microphone, set it on the table. You just heard my apology. Pay attention. He walked toward the door, not rushing, just walking. The journalist who'd asked called out, Mr. Brando, that's not what I meant. Brando stopped, turned back. I know. You wanted me to apologize for making them uncomfortable. I apologized for why they should be. He looked at the room. 40 faces, some confused, some stunned, some starting to understand. Those are different things. He turned, pushed through the door. It closed behind him. The room sat silent, 10 full seconds. Then chaos. Reporters standing, talking over each other. What's the headline? What's the story? Did he apologize or didn't he? The journalist who'd asked sat there, staring at his notes. He'd written, Brando apologizes, then crossed that out. Written, refuses to apologize, then crossed that out. Neither was right. Both were true. Someone near the back laughed, short, bitter. He just did it again. What did? He used the platform we gave him. We asked for an apology. He gave us one, just not to us. A camera operator was rewinding footage, watching the moment again. Wait, did he technically answer the question? He said yes, then he apologized. So yes, but not to the Academy. He didn't say he'd apologize to the Academy, we assumed. The journalist who'd asked was still staring at his notepad. Someone approached. You all right? I framed it perfectly, he said quietly. Set it up, made it impossible to dodge. And? He didn't dodge it. He answered it. Exactly. I just didn't anticipate his answer. The room was emptying now. Reporters heading out, filing stories, calling editors. What's the angle? What's the lead? One stayed behind. Older, veteran political reporter. She'd covered 3 administrations, seen every kind of press conference manipulation. She looked at the empty table, the unplugged microphones, the chair Brando had sat in. 23 minutes, she said to no one. He controlled 23 minutes without raising his voice once. Her colleague looked over. You think he planned the apology thing? Oh, he absolutely planned it. That wasn't improvised, that was surgical. Then why come to the conference at all? He knew what they'd ask. She smiled, not warm, admiring. Because he wanted the platform, wanted the cameras, wanted the question. To apologize? To redefine what apology means. She packed her recorder. We wanted contrition. He gave us accountability, just pointed it at someone else. The ballroom was empty now, except for hotel staff breaking down chairs, the afternoon light still coming through the curtains, everything looking exactly as it had 2 hours ago. But something had shifted. You could feel it in the air, the same way you could feel it after any moment when power changed hands. 40 reporters had walked in expecting blood, expecting Brando to break, to soften, to play the game. He'd played it, just by different rules. Used their format, answered their question, gave them the apology they asked for, then walked out leaving them holding a story they didn't know how to write. In a hotel ballroom in Los Angeles, a journalist asked Marlon Brando if he would apologize to the Academy. Brando said yes, then apologized to every person the Academy should have apologized to first. The room went silent. The microphones buzzed, and 40 reporters stared at their notepads, trying to figure out what headline to write, because he'd given them exactly what they asked for, just not in any way they could use against him.